So surreal. But we're going to keep it moving. We have 60 days behind us. We have about 300 and what? 5 days in front of us. So yeah, if you haven't started putting in the work, now is a good time to put in the work, to figure things out, to figure yourself out. Okay. Now let's get into the headlines for this morning. This is the Daily News Review program on the women on the morning show this morning. Excuse me. And this program, we're going to be running through the headlines that, caught our eye, and then tackle the ones that were like, oh yeah, this one we want to dwell there. So we're going to be running through the headlines from the dailies this morning, from different dailies that we found this morning, and then we shall keep it moving. Okay. Let's start off with the Punch newspaper. NDLEA uncovers meth laboratory in Imo State. Arrests wanted drug baron. That's good news, to be honest, because we already know that there's a drug epidemic in Nigeria. I think even worldwide, but right now we're talking about Nigeria, and this is good. A meth laboratory. Things are happening. Next up in the Punch newspaper, we have school owners fear 700,000 Ogun students may miss WASC. That's the West African Senior Secondary School certificates. We are going to be talking about that with our analyst this morning, because when I read it, to be honest, I didn't even understand what I read, because I was like, huh? A lot of things make you do in this Nigeria that we're at, and this one is one of them. Next up in the Guardian newspaper, we see Tinubu poisoning allegation video fabricated, says President. So there's a video going around saying that Tinubu was poisoned. There's a new chef they got, an unknown new chef that they got, and yeah, but then President is saying, oh no, there's no poisoning happening. Keep your minds at rest. We're still moving. Okay. Next up in the Guardian newspaper, we have Osun APC endorsed Tinubu based on performance and vision, says Oyetola. Next up, we have this day newspaper, criminal elements infringing on intellectual property rights, says Customs CG. Next up in this day as well, we have protests in Kano over Ayatollah Khamenei's death in US-Israel strike. Next up, we have Daily Trust, Amupitan-INEC can't guarantee perfect election in 2027. They can't. INEC can't. I'm sorry, what? What does this mean? Like, so we don't have faith in INEC anymore? For INEC to be the one, the chairman is one coming to say this. That is worrisome. That is really, 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 really worrisome. But okay. Let's see how this one unfolds. Oil and gas, Nigeria tightens local content rules, rejects 186 expatriates slots. Moving on to the Vanguard, bigger part of newspaper, Dauda Lawal abolishes cash revenue collection to boost transparency in Zamfara. Okay, next up we have Electoral Act, why the National Assembly included manual electronic transmissions. This is by Speaker Abbas, Tajin Abbas. In the Premium Times, we have terrorists raid Kwara village near Woro, loot shops. We also have in the Premium Times this morning, Tinubu reviews tenure of Abubakar Audi as NSCDC Commandant General. Congratulations are in order, I guess. In the Nation newspaper, we have gunmen kidnap father of former Ebonyi deputy governor. What's now going to happen? NDLEA nabs wanted drug kingpin after 13 years in hiding over cocaine, heroin shipments. That's good news. Anything we concern arrest of drug kingpins, or there's a lab somewhere, please do, because our kids' lives are at stake, to be honest. In the cable newspaper, we have reps to hold public hearing on FinTech Regulatory Commission bill on Monday. That's today. Former Ekiti Senator backs state police push, says safeguards can curb abuse by governors. In the Daily Post this morning, we may not achieve 100% perfect election for now, says INEC. Again, Abia PDP tackles Governor Oti's Abia PDP tackles Governor Oti over attack on journalist. That one is from the Daily Post. Moving on to the Tribune newspaper, we have federal government, AFC, sign MOU to fund $13 billion alumina project. Finally, in the Tribune, we have 1 dies, 3 injured in Ekpe auto crash. I don't know what's going. The amount of people that have died since the year started is alarming, and it's not that I'm being insensitive or anything, but whenever I see it, I just keep it moving because I can't. I don't want it to settle in my chest because it's just so much bad news that we're seeing. If it's not terrorists coming, it's accidents. If it's not accidents, it is people just dying of one thing or the other, road accidents. I mean, it's just a lot. It's just a lot. May this person so rest in peace. In the pen pushing newspaper, we have exit. Governor Abiodun salutes Kayode Egbetokun, sets agenda for successor Tunji Disu. Finally, the pen pushing newspaper, pen pushing member Tom Okewale Shonaya appointed board chair St. Ives Communications Limited. So Tom Okewale Shonaya, former CEO of Women Radio, is now the acting chair of St. Ives Communications. Women Radio now has a new CEO, Aramide Ayedeji Alakija Aje. So yeah, those are the headlines this morning from the National Dailies. We are live on YouTube at WFM 917. You can listen to us on the go via our website, www.wfm917.com. Our phone lines will be open shortly, and today month. Happy the best month in the year to you.
Yeah, and I think we've been looking at this. We've been looking at this month since since last year for you, and it's going to be significant. And don't worry, that you covered.
Yes, because I'm turning a milestone age this month. But this is not about me. Imanda, how do you know I had a great? You've been snooping on my status, have you? I'm gonna
no, I
block
don't do that, but definitely, we follow each other bomber to bomber, and I know you are a fan, so and I'm not too proud not to check on my fan to see how they are doing.
I will block you last. Okay. Over the weekend, before we even get, I had the privilege to go see the premiere of the Mothers of Chibok, and what was so interesting, here at Women Radio, we've been counting down, about the missing girls from Chibok, Leah Sharibu as well, and it was so interesting to see I thought it was going to be a really, really sad documentary, but interestingly, it was a documentary that was showing the resilience of these mothers and was showing how despite their heartache, their pain, they're able to fend for themselves, fend for their families. So we saw the women. So there was a table of products that they had made from their farm, and I thought that it was very, very inspiring. One of the questions I had asked the director was, what does this mean even for the other girls? Because there's still quite a few people, in the custody of these people, these really, really, really wicked, mean people. And one of the things that he had said was, he can't make a film for everybody, but he's doing the one that he can do. And he was calling on media to say, look, as we should shine the light basically on these stories and make sure that they matter as much as every other thing that we talk about matters. But there was one particular thing that caught my eye. It was the fact that these women, when they went into, these girls went and didn't come back the same way. They came back with children, Emmanuel. And I was just like, Some came back with 1, 2, and I realized that that's something that the government has to get into. The stigma affecting even the girls that have been, brought back from captivity. It was really, really bad, and I'm hoping and praying that the government really, really looks into it, because we know that Nigeria, we have stigma everywhere. No, fall inside, have an accident, there's stigma. Oh, no, that guy will get accident. That's a stigma as well. But it was the fact that these girls came back and they were being looked at in a different way, because they came back with children. It was just so very, very interesting to see. And at the end of the day, it also made me grateful that more people are going through quite a few things, but at the same time, in your own little way, add your voice, like we add our voices, on Women Radio to these things. Yeah, that was it. I wanted to say what happened at
Yeah, I think you had quite an experience, and that's why we have places like Women Radio WFM 91.7, who shines the spotlight on incident like this, who ensures that this kind of incident is not swept under the ground, who ensures that accountability is being demanded consistently. See, a lot of Nigerians have moved on from the Chibok to Dapchi to Leah Shuaibu. They've moved on.
Yeah.
And this is one thing that government officials want. They don't want you hammering it on them, their failures. So when media houses are not, who happens to be the first estate of the realm and the conscience of the society, when they stop hammering it, government are happy because nobody is holding them accountable. But so we must give kudos to platforms like Women Radio, who does these things every time to ensure that the voices of women and girls are heard, and that they follow up on every incident that pertains to women to ensure that they get justice, to ensure that they have equal rights, which is SDG, Sustainable Development Goal 5, and to ensure that there is accountability on the part of leaders when it concerns women and girls, and especially the family at large. What you've seen there, what you saw over the weekend was just the reality of some people who, due to the failure of the government, they found themselves in this situation. If they had told you when you were in school that you will be sent to school and you'll be picked up, and an unknown man who you don't even like would get you pregnant, and you don't even have access to the man, some of them don't even know where these men are. Some of them have been killed. Some of them are anywhere. These are men who are high on drugs, who are fighting a battle that nobody knows their reason, and who are harming innocent citizens. Just imagine the trauma of a teenage girl that was picked, taken away from her family, molested by different men, and carries a baby that doesn't know the father. And then she still goes through the mental strength of catering for the baby. Now look at the psychological trauma of the mothers. So it's been a whole lot of battle for the Chibok family. Because I don't want to use Chibok girls as the family, because the mother and everyone member of the family is involved. Some of them have survived, some of them didn't survive. And this is where we are. And those who led us into this kind of scenario are still ruling us. So I think it's just the reality of the society we live in, that if the media fails, then the society will fail, because there will be no demand for accountability. There will be no spotlight on evils that are happening to correct the evils. When there is spotlight on evil, it is a call to action that evil needs to be corrected. And it's been long we see media shining spotlight on this. Go to media houses, ask the IDP. I'm not talking about you guys at WFM, because I know you guys still shine the spotlight on it, but go to major media houses. When it happens, they shout for 2 or 3 days. Government knows that that's how they shout, and then they move on. And it's so sad that nobody is even talking about the after effects. Nobody is following it. So we have to give kudos to the director, the producers, the producers, for thinking in this light, and also for bringing the spotlight to see what has happened to the mothers of Chibok, because we need to know their life. We need to know how they feel. And I think it was a wonderful one by the producer. And well, I'm glad you actually enjoyed it.
I did, though. It just made me very reflective. But anyway, let's get into the headlines for this morning. The first one that caught my eye this morning, even though I don't know what's going on in Ogun State. I'm an Ogun State indigene. I'm not indigene. I'm sure from Ogun State, and every time I see news from Ogun State, I'm just so embarrassed and sad, because what is this? 700,000 Ogun students may miss their WASC. This is from the Punch newspaper. What is causing this problem? Apparently, they're saying now that there's like administrative stuff that they need, challenges that are happening in Ogun State that's going to prevent these kids from writing or from registering their WAS. Number one is there's a mandatory requirement for students to possess a learner identification number before being registered for WASC. Number two is that, and this is mainly for private schools, not for public schools. Number two is that they also want students. So if, for instance, your kid was in a particular secondary school, they now come to another one. They moved schools basically. They are asking for their results from SS1 and SS2, first term, second term, third term, first term, second term, third term, before they will now register them. And you know how difficult that will be in a country like Nigeria, that data on hand is not something that is easily accessible. And that's number one. Number two is that if I go to that school and say I want to go, like, they will tell you, oh, we have to go and look for it because we don't have it easily accessible in terms of it's not on the cloud. It's probably still in the store. So they have to be going through it to sort it out. That will take a lot of time. They also want them to produce their GSS3 certificates as well. So imagine that I went to somebody went to I'm way done with school. Person A went to a school. You want all these results to be given, and they're saying that if they don't do it, they won't get registered. Now the schools are even now saying that it's not even about these requirements. Is even what's even more important to note is that the time frame is impractical because they have limited time. I think ideally WAEC starts in May. I may be mistaken. I think May, June. No, I think it's May, April, May. Yeah. So what time are they going to? How do they sort out the results of 700,000 kids? So now they're appealing on the government to allow them register these children. Emmanuel.
I think what we are seeing in Ogun State is what we see generally, and that has been the failure of our society as Nigeria. We are seeing a policy versus reality gap. Why policies can be forward thinking, the reality on ground definitely will affect the policy. So most times what we have, even organizations and in society, is that we have policy, but the reality gap is quite different, which is actually not a very good one. And I think for the Ogun State government, especially at this critical junction, they are going to come together and probably find a solution to what is going on, because that is the only way forward. Because if you don't have way forward, it's going to be a crisis that we are having on our hands. But let's just look at this holistically. When you look at the numbers, number one, I would say that the proprietors of private schools also they have their blame. The government is saying that every student must have learner identification number. They call it LIN, a lot of identification number in Nigeria, before they can be registered for the May-June exam, which is being conducted by West Africa Examination Council, known as WAEC. Well, private school proprietors are now, because I want to create a background for our listeners who may not be familiar with what exactly is happening in Ogun State. Private school proprietors are saying that this policy is very urgent and sudden. Then they are having issues with the online generating and validating platform, which has been unstable. Reality of Nigeria registration system. For those of us who have tried registering for anything in Nigeria by the government, this is the reality of it. Unstable platform built anyhow for the citizens in numbers to go there, and then you see the network crashing down. This is the reality. Then they said track learners in private. One of the things is that many students who have also registered before, they cannot retrieve their LIN numbers. So, for example, if you say you registered before, they are having issue getting their numbers from the database. And then, as usual, the timeline is very unrealistic, which is going to make about 70% of private school students who are trying to meet with this deadline miss the examination. But I know the critical stakeholders in Ogun State Ministry of Education are going to come together to see how they can salvage the situation.
They have to.
Because they need to understand that the failure of students to register for WASEC is also the failure of the Ministry of Education. And I cannot be a governor, though I'm not. I'm just saying I cannot be a governor and sit down and allow the education sector in my state to be mixed up. Because see, if these students are not registered this year, they spill over to next year. Look at the number of students we'll also be having next year, which is a huge burden. What can happen to these children within a year? We must also look at it. They can be demoralized, they can get into vices and a whole lot. So I think it is in the best interest of Ogun State government when they look at it holistically to see that every student is registered. Every student has a right to education. I don't want to talk about the primary responsibility of the government. I've echoed it and echoed it here. Security and welfare. Education is part of the welfare of the citizens. So because of a certain government policy that doesn't meet reality, students should not pay for it. Enough of policy versus reality issues in Nigeria. And I think we should not be playing with minds like this, because I don't want to come on media houses and start discussing when it comes to May, June, August. If I'm not discussing glitch of WAEC like I did last year, I'm discussing JAMS glitch. We're just discussing things that would hamper and affect the mental state of students who are still in their formative years. I think the system should be smooth for them so that the only thing they concentrate about is building their knowledge and behavior, because school is for knowledge and also behavior. But when you are allowing them to deal with all these things, and don't forget, the era of guidance and counseling has left most schools. No counselor to even help them psychologically. So I think the migration, they also did the migration from the old platform, I think they call it OG Sarah or something, to a new platform, has created confusion. And this is affecting a lot of schools. So at this point, I think, I'll just cut it short here. I think the Ogun State government, especially the Ministry of Education, should sit down and dialogue with stakeholders. Who are the stakeholders? Those who own schools, proprietors, principals of schools, those are the stakeholders, because without them, there's not going to be an education sector in Ogun State. So I think they need to sit down, have a proper dialogue, and ensure that based on their own policy versus reality problem, no student is left out of this.
Well said, well said, well said. And for me, I think my worry really is that in the last 2 years or so, we've had issues with kids writing like WAEC, oh, the result is good, oh, the result is not good, and then this is added to it, and then you have, this can be very, very demoralizing for these kids this is like the beginning of their life into real world, and not just demoralizing for them, demoralizing for the parents, even for the schools who are prepping them. I can just imagine my kid doing WAEC and about to write, and they say, oh, sorry, we have to register. I'm almost wanting to ask that, why is there such is it divide or dichotomy between the private sector and the public sector? Because these kids are in school. We're not saying that the kids in public schools are having these issues. Why is it that the private sector is the one that is having this issue?
I did say that while government policy might be forward thinking, the reality on ground might speak different to it. Now, most miracle centers are not government institutions. They are private institutions.
Right.
Students move and all. And I think from the government's perspective, because we give them a lot of armor, if the policy was well implemented, for me, I think it's going to be a good policy, because you can track students. They are saying to schools that students that joined you guys in SS3 or SS2 provide their junior certificate results. Let's see it. Let's see their SS1 first term and second term results. And private schools are telling them they can't get that. Who can't get that? You have your first and second term result in SS1 and SS2 anywhere you school. For you to make a transfer, they will also ask you for these results minus the entrance examination you are going to write. So it's a whole lot of police and
is that what is at play here? Because I remember that I changed schools this many years ago, and I don't remember. Maybe I should ask my mother.
They are going to drop your certificate. They will look at your, if you
Yeah,
say you're
that's
in science
internal.
class, they will look at your junior NECO, and then they will also look at, what is it called, your previous classes results to
Yeah.
ensure that you are fit, and if you school with standard, and you are sure to be in that school. So when you look at it, it's just the basic reality. So the only thing I want them to be complaining about is just that there's a glitch. We can't register. And if government can clear that glitch within a week, the registration will go on. A portal can register 500,000 people in a day if there's no glitch. So they ought to ensure that, oh, government, let this portal work. So when I say policy reality, it's just a case of police and thief. I'm trying to police, we're trying to. So see, all of them, that's why I say stakeholders need to come together and find a way forward. Because government is trying to stop something, and then it's also affecting private schools, and those who have genuine concern should quickly raise it and find a way forward for their students because they paid for this.
Yeah. I like how you say there's a glitch or no, because that just leads us into our second headline for this morning, the glitch or no glitch. Interestingly, as an aside, last week I needed to send some files to a friend of mine who's based in the UK, and he kept on saying, send this thing to me now. I say, please, the thing is still loading. When I was able to eventually send it to him, he goes, you now, and then did it now. I was like, so of course we have a very, very long way to go in Nigeria when it comes to like internet services. I said that because we're about to talk about INEC and all things regarding electoral process, etc. But before we do that, let's take some messages. We have this one that says, nice morning and happy new month to you. Same to you. The INEC boss is already confessing to me, and you you do not expect 100%, that he doesn't expect 100% election come 2027. Please, Oga Chairman, Nigerians are no longer fools or idiots, as you people term us to be. We know that we are helpless as far as you rulers are concerned. We have handed you people over to God to handle. The master strategist has succeeded in pocketing the security authorities, INEC, the National Assembly, the judiciary for their favor. Fellow citizens, one thing is sure in life, because my Bible tells me that there was a certain rich man that boasted he would do one or two things by tomorrow, but God called him a fool, and the rest is history. I'm so glad that no man can buy or bribe God. So the INEC chairman, we are not expecting you to betray the man that gave you food to eat. Oh God, arise and trouble those that are troubling Nigerians. That's Mayor from Ikotumegbe. Oluchoga Ajayi says, I'm still wondering how Iran has been surviving while completely surrounded by enemies. If you check very well, you'll discover that Iran is surrounded by Muslim countries, yet they all back.
Only for me in the studio this morning.
Good morning. Yes, it's only me and Emmanuel this morning. Yes. How are you?
On the line. Mr. Emmanuel, how are you doing?
Very well, thank you.
Go ahead with your comments, Prince. I think we have lost that call. Okay, please do well to call us back 07000-917-917, 09155-917-917, and our toll-free line 0800-1235-917. You can call or text us on 08155-917-917 or 0703-1756-537. Okay. If you check very well, you'll discover that Iran is surrounded by Muslims. Okay, that is to tell you that the world is political and economic war, not religious. I advise federal government to arrest anyone protesting because of the war in Nigeria and send them to Iran or Israel, where they are fighting war. Lastly, for today, we have Morning to You in the studio on evidence that funds were found in El Rufai's house, as has confirmed his statement that he tapped the phone of the National Security Advisor. Hope the DSS will do diligent prosecution. And for Israel and bombing of Iran, hope Trump will not cause calamity to enter the world before he leaves office, because if care is not taken, fuel price will go up at any moment in time, and the impact on the world, economic. And for INEC chairman, he should try his best and leave the rest. Thank you so much for your messages. We still expect the messages to come in. Emmanuel, our next headline, which is, we may not achieve 100% perfect election for now. This is by the INEC. I mean, most of the the newspapers carried it this morning. My question really is this, Emmanuel. If he's saying this now, is he preempting himself? Is this action film we're watching? Because you know that thing of that happens in Nigeria. How do I explain this? When fuel prices go up to like maybe say 2,000 naira, we'll now fight. It will now come back to 900 naira. But we know that it's 900 naira they had their sights on. So they make it to the highest. So is this a case of he's saying it because he can already tell that election will not be free and fair next year? I mean, election is literally 9.5 months away. What's the play here, Emmanuel?
She is just telling you that we might not achieve 100% election in 2027. And he's right. He's just telling you guys the truth. And you guys don't like listening to the truth. Do you think with all the ways that the Electoral Amendment Act has been passed, the election timetable has been revised, parties have less time? Don't forget, between April and May, party must conduct their primaries and all. Some parties have not done membership registration. They are running against it. Election is not the day you vote. Election starts from now, because we are having party registration. The kind of primaries that has been put there by political party. Do you think INEC has the manpower to monitor all this? What of if two political parties like PDP and ADC wants to have their primaries the same day? Do INEC have the capacity to monitor and do all those things? So he's telling you guys the truth, because he's not saying that the 2027 that you people are calling the election day. See, the election date that you people say is February 2027 is a manufacturing of everything that is happening from now. So the imperfection of the election has already started. And the imperfection cannot start now and you expect a perfection at the end. Parties are complaining. The timeline has changed. What caused the timeline to change? Delay in the Electoral Act amendment. A whole lot is happening, and then it's not even favoring INEC or favor political parties, except for some political gladiators who have played their game right and they've understood what they want to do. So imperfection cannot start now, and then you expect perfection when they announce the result of election.
My God.
So it is a long journey towards achieving perfection. He's just telling you guys the truth. But you know, Nigerians, when he says that, they feel like, oh no, he's talking about the election day in 2027. No, everything is a build-up to that election day in 2027. And that started now with imperfection. So if you want a perfect election, then you are wrong. For people, we argue that there are countries in the world that are developed, but they also don't have perfect election. No election is perfect, because the losers will cry foul, the winners will cry perfection. But it is who the election favors that calls the election a good one. I think only Musa Umar Yar'Adua late that has ever mentioned that the election that brought him in was imperfect, and he tried to rewrite the system to make it perfect. But when he brings them in, we call it grace, that they have been favored. But when he works against you, we call it rigging. The imperfection starts now. Politicians are already working to ensure that the imperfection favors them. Why Nigerians are crying and are waiting for the D-Day to experience a perfect election? It is not done that way. You need to start seeing the build-up to the election, and then you understand that when he says we can't have a perfect election, we might not achieve 100% perfect election for now, he's actually right in his statement. But people will give him the stick that is INEC boss, but INEC is also governed by the law. And the law that gave them, they have now, the electoral amendment, they've not even taken time to understand it.
We have a call. Hold on a minute. Emmanuel, hello, good morning. Hello, good morning. We cannot. Hello, we cannot hear you. Hello. I think. Hello. Okay. Yes. 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 Good morning, Evangelist Dixon. How are you this morning? Oh, I think the network is bad. We can hardly hear you.
Okay.
Please try calling back. Thank you so much. We've been having network issues, I think, generally with network providers since over the weekend. So hopefully it is rectified. Please go ahead, Emmanuel.
So basically, you look at it, and then when he says that, I think he's justified saying that. He's just telling you the truth. But sometimes you don't want to listen to the truth because the truth hurts us. Just imagine like a pilot taking off and saying that we are not going to have a perfect flight. You think that the pilot is telling you that he's going to jump you up and down, but it's not going to be the pilot. That's why they tell you that there are some clouds that are up there. The ones we can dodge, we dodge them. The ones we cannot dodge, we chase them. And when they chase those clouds, that's when you feel like, why have I not traveled? Why didn't I travel by road? The pilot from the start looks at everything, all the information he has, and then looks at it and say, this flight is not going to be a perfect flight, but we are going to land anyhow. Some passengers would land with slight headache. Some, they would have moved around. Some will vomit. So it depends. So it's just telling you the truth that I have seen what they have given us to run with. And this is not going to give us a perfect election for now. Some will say that they veto millions or trillions into INEC. If you veto millions or trillions to INEC, and then the rules of engagement for them, the laws that has been given to them, they are also trying to study it. They are trying to move with the timeline and timetable for us to have an election. Don't forget, the election is less than a year from now.
Yep.
And everybody is trying to understand a bit of the new electoral law and all that. So it's just him telling us the truth. But as a pilot will tell you, the flight, there's going to be turbulence on the way. It's not going to be an 100% perfect flight, but we'll just land at our destination, and then people will start praying, oh Lord, take away the crowd, take away this. The cloud has formed. Everything is a form of nature, and it has formed, and it's telling you the truth now concerning election, that the election is not going to be perfect for now. We can't achieve 100% perfect election. I think Nigeria should even be begging him, just give us 50% perfect election.
I think we have a call again. Hello. The network is good morning. I can. Yes, but it's not audible enough.
Okay. God be blessed. I've been listening to you. How you balance it. You are dead justice to almost everything. And I keep in my mind, I don't need to repeat what you have just said. All I need to go with you more with the knowledge and more understanding. On drugs, thank God for Boba Mara. He has done enough because it's this drug that was crime. And this one has done enough. If other ministers or other people that are in other places are even trying like this man, I don't know how the problem we're having today. On state, we need to have state police. They're not there should be more on board. I know police are corrupt. We don't have state police. People who really know these people, who are within them, it should be easier for us to cover this problem of bandits and other these things. And I still insist, Nigeria was not like this before. Nigeria was not like this before. Nigeria was higher than the dollar. If Nigeria was not like who brought us where we are today, and me and you in Nigeria is a great country created by God. The people in Nigeria that show Nigeria, and none of us contributed to the son of this country because none of us are going to do what we are doing. Like what the man is saying there. If INEC is saying this thing, what do you want INEC to say? And that's why I say I love policy and I support him 100%. Balancing with the cover. I still insist. Nigeria, if you want a better Nigeria, let's all do the right thing. Let's all do things in a different way. If you continue doing things the way you used to do in the wrong way, we will pray for money tonight. God will listen to our prayer. God, before we pray, should go and do the right thing. We don't do the right thing. And we think that God is here, God will not hear. God, fasting and prayer, we should fly God and do the boss. One day we'll go back to God and give us. Nigeria will be great again. Thank you. God bless. God bless Nigeria. Many thank you.
Thank you so much for calling in, Evangelist Dixon. Please keep your calls and comments and text messages coming in. We're live on YouTube at WFM917, and you can listen to us on the go via our website, www.wfm917. This is Women Radio. You are currently on the Daily News Review program on Women Radio this morning. My name is Fumi. Our in-house analyst is here, Emmanuel, and we've just been dissecting the headlines that have caught our eye this morning. Nigeria matter. But yeah, let's go ahead. Emmanuel, yes, you were saying.
So another thing is now that you have to have digital party membership is required for political parties. So now political parties are struggling to ensure that there is digital party membership for them. So these are just some of the things that Amupitan is now saying, that with all these things, are you sure we are going to have 100% election? And then people are crying. It's just telling you the truth. It's telling you the truth, but as I said, the truth is a bit bitter. Most of the problem is not on INEC, because they just got the timetable to work. We just got the electoral amendment. Political party just got it. And I tell you, APC ahead of the game, they've done their own digitalization started since last year, 2025, February. ADC was caught napping. PDP are still in court. They don't even know whether they belong to Turaki or they belong to Wike. PDP are just there with 3 governors from 11 that started the campaign with them. So you just look at it and you laugh. And they are telling you from an expert part of view what we are seeing. Because now for PDP, we don't even know if appeal court rules now that, okay, we are having Turaki side as the PDP group. And then they go to Supreme Court. Supreme Court rules that we are having Wike. Now we have to start changing. For example, we register Turaki's people as a candidate. We have to switch again to Wike. And then who are those that carry out the congresses? We have to go back again. So it's a whole lot for INEC. And I think it's also part of the game politicians play to ensure that all these things go hand in hand to their own favor. So 100% perfect election, I don't know Nigerians are looking for 100% perfect election. I think they must be dreaming, because, and I'm serious, we can't have that for now. They must be dreaming for people to be saying that why can't we have 100% election? We can't. Have we even put into consideration logistics? NURTW, that their leaders have allegiance to some political parties. They are tasked with moving electoral materials. People that are in partisan politics. Have we thought of security? Have we forgotten what happened in the last election, where ballot boxes were being taken and then police were standing? And then they stand only with they call it Kondo Olokpa. Some of them don't even have the Kondo Olokpa with them. And they have to also maintain, because they have families at home. When they see danger that is more than their training, they have to chill.
I should not be laughing, but I mean,
the other time they were telling some group of people, oh, you can't vote here. Police officer was there. They didn't do anything.
Hello.
We have a call. Hello, good morning.
Hi, Fumi. Good morning.
Hi, Mrs. Abeli. How are you? Good morning.
Morning. I'm fine. Mr. Emmanuel, good morning.
Happy New Month to you, Mrs. Abeli.
I wish you the same. Hope Rose is fine as well.
She's well, yes, thank you.
Mr. Emmanuel, I understand all the logistics problem you've raised this morning. If we can't get it right in 2027, and the process is already flawed and fraught with all these ineptitudes, why then are we going to say we should have an election in 2027? I have said it times without number that the media is going to have a very serious time convincing electorates like me to go and vote. Because even before Mr. Amupitan said what he said, the odds are not just right. It's like you want to bet now, and they're telling you this thing. From inception, you already know that T and C's apply. So how will I, as an electorate that wants a change for my country, now stand up, go out amidst threats to my life, Kondo Olokpa threats, Agberu threats, every other threat, go out and stand in a queue? That is if I possibly make it to that queue. At the end of the day, I'm either allowed to vote, it will not count, or I'm not even allowed to vote. I understand The people transporting the ballot boxes, the voters, whatever we are going to use, they are also allegedly, paying allegiance to a particular party. Agreed. So if we can't get it right, must there be an election in 2027? Because it is obvious that the electorate are going to waste their time. All this while, we've not gotten it right. So why are we in a democratic system of government? Nothing good. So having that at the back of my mind, I am not apathetical about the vote or this period, but it's just the truth that what is on ground versus what I'm going to get is what I ordered versus what I got. The same abracadabra negativity that happened in 2023 is about to be a vicious circle, play out again. So Clara fell on the Buffon 2027. Let's just say that there's no 2027. The people that are there will just bring in on your mandate. We shall stand. I will keep standing on the rocky foundation, the wobbly mandate that you have been standing on. So, since power is not served like a cat, they have grabbed it from inception. Amupitan is just here to repeat what Jega and what the other man, Mahmoud, did. Then, Alpha. So please, none of you should come and tell us to come and go and vote, because it is obvious that the process itself has been rigged against the electorate. So why tell me to come out and vote? As it stands now, I used to say I will die fighting. I won't, die like a cockroach or something. But already on this particular voting issue, it is not, I think I should just be here sipping coffee and watching film on the day of election rather than come out and go and vote when it's obvious it will not count. They should just about bring in the former person that was there, the incumbent, and let's have it the way it used to be. It is so painful. If you tell me these things go wrong because of normal errors or normal flaws, but because human hand is inside the pot of soup, that makes it sour. That is the most painful and innocuous thing I can ever think of in my life. If Fumi's pot of soup is sour and it got sour because of probably carelessness, I hear that one. But because Mrs. Oboli went to dip her hand inside the pot of soup and Fumi's pot of soup got sour, then somebody somewhere has been responsible for that rubbish, so that it happened on its own. So now that it is established, in conclusion, that the process already has been flawed, let's leave it the way it is. Let's just maintain status quo. Good morning, everyone.
Good morning, Mrs. Oboli. I mean, what Mrs. Oboli is saying, right, mirrors a lot of things. Last week, was it you that was on the show? I'm not sure who it was. And I had asked a question. I actually did. It wasn't you. I cited you. I said, Emmanuel is always talking about how, our vote is our power, go out to vote. But what then do you say to people who believe that if I go out to vote, just based on this conversation, it's not going to count? Hello, good morning.
Hello, good morning.
Good morning. This is Obi, right?
Yeah, this is Chiba. Chiba is calling from away.
Yeah, good morning. Go ahead.
Yes, so I want to thank Amupitan for coming out clearly to tell us that election will be leaked, as a fact is being leaked. So I don't think there's need for them to give them almost 800 billion naira for election again. Let Tinubu just continue, because I believe that Amupitan do not mean maybe Nigerians to start costing him after the election for election rigging, just like they did to Yakubu. So that's why he's coming after me to say, look at this election has been rigged. And I won't be surprised that even the opposition will never do anything. They will never say anything. They won't. And they will also be surprised to your Tuesday guest. What is the name? That APC guest will still come tomorrow to defend Amupitan and the APC. I'm waiting for him tomorrow. Thank you.
Thank you so much for your message. Emmanuel, over to you. It's like the smile that you had with Mrs. Oboli and now this person. Okay, go ahead.
I think Mrs. Oboli has a valid point that it will be very hard for her to be convinced to vote. And when I say that the system is, the flaw has started, number one, for every ruling political party, their aim is to retain power. For every opposition, their aim is to take over power.
Yeah.
But why the 2027 election is sounding this way is because our opposition has been without balls. You know, I gave an example. I said that PDP, 11 governors, they are now left with 3. One is quiet. The other is throwing jab at the opposition. One is frolicking with the opposition. One is frolicking with the ruling party. The other is frolicking jab at the opposition. See, for any election to seems to have a form of competitiveness, the opposition brings that. And what we've seen with the opposition, you know, I keep saying this. I've never seen an opposition that dwells solely on press statements. I've never seen an opposition that dwells on X statements in my life, like the ones we have now. Opposition leaders are not in synergy. Apart from the World Press Conference they had the other day, they are not even talking about electoral. They just issue statement on X and go. And to me, I believe some of these opposition leaders are opposition by day, ruling party by night.
Mm-hmm.
So see, the people that makes votes count, that put mechanism in place for votes to count. When people say citizens should stay at the polling unit, defend their votes, now I've been saying I'm not a fan of that. Mine is just vote, go to your house. Those who defend the vote are the opposition and the ruling party. They stay there. That's why they have party agents who stays there. Look at the election that happened in Abuja the other day, area council election. Such a shame that we have opposition that could not even have, just in Abuja, they could not have polling agents in all the polling units. So Mrs. Oboli's fear is certain. But if out of about, I think we have about 96 million registered voters in Nigeria, if 50 million of them state that they are not going to come out to vote, the election has been flawed and has been rigged in favor of those who have planned to do it. When the numbers are high, it is difficult to rig. That is why you see some opposition winning in some polling units or some areas, because the numbers of those who turn out to vote for them are higher than the number of those who voted for the other party. So it is difficult to rig. Do you think a certain politician will have come second in a certain South state in the last election, and the person that the election was favored for in that state led with about 30,000 votes, if his vote has not been way higher? Just imagine his votes were not higher. He would have been rigged out completely. So when citizens don't vote, politicians who are planning on rigging elections are happy. The system is flawed. Opposition is not behaving like opposition. Opposition is behaving like a branch of the ruling party. And the other one, opposition, is behaving like what I don't know. So there is no opposition anywhere. Look at Labour Party. Obi left. Nandi Usman became the chairman. Labour Party will have to start planning their own convention and all. What of the Supreme Court rules against Nandi Usman? Julius Abure comes back. Crazy things are happening. And opposition leaders are sleeping. And when opposition dies, I said it on this platform, when opposition dies in a democratic process, the voice of the people dies, because opposition is meant to challenge and make a push for power. And when opposition makes a push for power, the ruling party sits well, or they readjust themselves to ensure that they get more people into their side. But now almost all state governors and the ruling party, ask them why they are joining. They don't even know. And then oppositions are there, in-house fighting. Nobody wants to contest under PDP because it can be a political suicide.
Yeah.
So it's just crazy. But if Nigerians don't vote in numbers, then rigging becomes easy. I think I will rest on that.
Okay. With that being said, we've come to the end of the Daily News Review program this morning. To be honest, the jury for me is still out on the math behind of the show this morning. We truly appreciate you. Again, welcome to a brand new month. This month would unveil and open up opportunities for us in this month. As you go about your day today, remember to do the right thing always as a citizen of this great country. As always, Emmanuel, thank you so much for coming on the show this morning. It's always a pleasure to have you come on the Daily News Review program.
Thank you for having me.
And for the rest of us, still stick with us for even amazing programming on Women Radio 91.7. 9 o'clock is the news, 9:05 is her lens, 10 a.m. is Radio Talk. We have plenty of things in store for you. Okay, enjoy the rest of the day. Just catch you tomorrow on another edition of Weekly News, Daily News Review. Of Daily News Review this morning. Yeah, bye for now. God bless. My name is Mibangala.